So done with the newspaper?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Okay, then we need not discuss anything. No? Anything useful? So okay, so try to find 5 prelims questions in today's newspaper. According to you. Sorry? Try to find, like, frame a question or say is it worthy of prelims question according to you. So that will tell you whether you know the frequency that you are supposed to touch. Or if you are good enough, you can also find any mains question, 1 or 2 mains question. That's up to you. Hybrid laptop. Aditya? Yes. Okay. The old one repeated once, anyone will do. Done? Yes. Let me hear them.
Doha Agreement.
Doha Agreement is related to. Okay. How many of you know that answer? I hope all of you know. Good. Anything else?
Article 48 of Constitution.
Article?
48.
Article 48 of Constitution is related to. Okay.
Operating ratio. What does it mean? Operating ratio.
Operating ratio. What does it mean? Okay, good.
DAC headed by.
Okay. Defense Acquisition Council is headed by
Indra Swamy judgment.
Indra Swamy judgment. Probably they are reserved for mains more than prelims, but yes, having an understanding will help. All of you know the importance and significance of Indra Swamy judgment, right? Yes. So probably prelims questions originating from that particular topic is whether OBC is a constitutional body or not. Yes. So that might be a better question. Navigation systems, IRNSS, no? Okay. Baidu, okay.
100-day campaign under which means
Okay. Typical scheme based questions. Sessions of Parliament, okay.
What is 0 hour? Which comes first? Question hour.
A 0 hour, okay. Which is convention, which is a norm, which is written. Yes, which are in the rules, which is one we are following as a convention rather than as a rule. Yes. Sorry. Writs. Okay.
NSIL.
Okay. New Space India Limited, the commercial wing of ISRO. Okay. But again, that is also more or less focused towards mains, but it's a probable question for prelims. But again, okay. Others. Bad loans versus NPA. Okay. Powers of speaker in relation to which article?
Deciding whether a bill is valid or not.
Okay, so that particular article where electoral bonds are criticized. Yes, so again electoral bonds itself is a prelims question, right? What is the denominators where electoral bonds are available? Yes. Again it will become very triviality. Yes, but it's more useful for mains because anthrics, all that drama has happened, right? Okay, so we'll go page by page. You compare whether you have the prelims questions or not. Right. So we'll start with this particular article. It's very important for your mains perspective, and if a judgment comes out of this, it has lot of ramifications. Yes. So technically speaking, the reservation right now is 60%. Technically speaking, the reservation system right now is 60%, including economic weaker sections. So the amendment is 103rd constitutional amendment. One major thing you have to remember is, till now the Indra Swamy judgment or the other benchmarks is more about socio-economic caste based, right? It's more about social backwardness. All the reservation systems till now that were given are social backwardness. You are being discriminated because of who you are. That is why you need affirmative action to live up to your full potential. Whereas economic weaker section, EWS quota that the present government has passed, the 10%, is purely on the basis of economic backwardness. Okay. So citing that as a reason that government was able to pass the extra 10%. We are not breaking the social limitations. 50% is the upper limit, right? I hope you understand. Now, what is Supreme Court trying to say? We probably need to relook into the entire thing. We need 10 or probably 13 judge bench to decide whether reservation system should be expanded or not. That is why government has passed the Article 342 amendment, right? 340 OBC backwardness, right? It has been made into a constitutional body because the powers will be taken away from the government and will be put in the hands of a constitutional body which is independent. If I have the power to declare who is OBC, who is not OBC, what will happen? Every group or every organization will start pressurizing me, lobbying me, right? For example, the Jats in Haryana area, they used to do this Rail Roko and all these things. Why? Need reservation in this. If you see in Andhra Pradesh, Kapu, a train has been burnt recently, that case has been brought out. Okay, the same thing applies to Maratha reservation, right? So every powerful group will start lobbying that include us in a reservation system. Yes. Now we are running backwards. Yes or no? Everybody wants to be labeled as backward rather than advanced. But again, why? The root cause is agrarian distress. Agrarian communities are moving away from agriculture, and private sector is not in a position to observe each and every person. Yes. Again, skill issues, educational issues. So all the structural fault lines that India have towards skilling and education are coming out in the form of reservation. Even if reservations are increased, what will happen? The charm of government jobs will be lost, right? And hardly what 40 lakh jobs are there in India in relation to government jobs. So whatever we are going to fight will be spilling over into private sector sooner than later. Clear? So now Indira Swani judgment. One important point you need to remember in the Indira Swani judgment is this: 50% shall be the rule, but again it's not airtight compartment. That is a very small point you have to notice. Indira Swani judgment doesn't say like it is like ironclad rule. It's like permanent. Okay, under extraordinary or rare situations, things can be adjusted. If you see UPSC notification, 712 notification, yes or no? 712 posts only, out of which again 20 are reserved for differently abled citizens. So technically speaking, you have only 690 posts, right? So you remember the vertical and horizontal reservation system? Vertical and horizontal reservation system. So in that sense, this article is very important for your mains perspective. Two judgments. One is this Sabarimala judgment or the temple entry, gender justice judgment. I told you, right? 9 questions are being framed by the Supreme Court. And this one. These two will make the modern India as we come to know. Yes? When these judgments come out. Because as everyone knows, reservation is supposed to be a means to an end, but it has become a end in itself. It shows all the structural fault lines, right? Skill development did not happen, industrialization did not happen, private sector was not in a position to absorb huge number of jobs. Even now, if you do all these things, do you have the guarantee that all these people will be absorbed? No. Link it to Haryana bill, 75% reservation in Haryana or 70% reservation in Andhra. Will things change in the ground level? Yes. It will again take a decade or so for all these things to have spillover effects. Clear? Yes.
This creamy layer concept was also linked to economic situation, right? So
Creamy layer, again, in OBCs, it's more about classes. See, SC and ST is more about social. Okay. Other backward classes means group of people, not one people, right? So how do I separate the rich class within the subclass, but they are all still treated the same? Okay, you are still socially discriminated because of who you are, but within your groups, some of them are very well off. So at least they don't have that stigma or they don't have that backwardness. So that is why the creamy layer concept has been introduced. So if you see the recent UPSC notifications and all these things, EWS 9 attempts have been given to the economic weaker sections, right? So again, OBC is classes, group of people, and OBC concept came in 1992. It was not in the first official affirmative actions. Yes. So I think VP Singh wanted to win an election. Yes, he brought this Mandal Commission report and he introduced the reservation system. He has done something good because till then, it was totally dominated by the other communities. So now recently we have seen OBC subcommittee reports in Indian Express Explained and all those places, which clearly shows within OBCs only certain groups are getting the benefits. We cannot deny that discrimination is there, but again, it's high time we rationally see the entire affirmative action. It should be more towards the really the last man in the line, not just because you belong to certain community. If you are having 10 crores and you are still availing reservation, that is not a logical thing. Okay, again it will be political. The moment I say creamy layer should be introduced in SC/ST communities, it will become a political nightmare. Yes, it is not that easy to introduce. Probably Supreme Court might do that for us. Okay. So we will see how it goes.
Does it also apply to the private body?
No, I mean whatever reservation systems are there purely for government, right? And India is not in a position to go for private sector reservation. Think about it. Sorry.
Haryana government recently reduced
Yes, 75% for locals, right? It is not based on caste, creed, religion, or etc. It's purely if you are earning 50,000 rupees or less than 15,000 rupees, only then the reservation system will apply. As the editorial in Hindu argues, it will lead more to Inspector Raj, right? And image perception management rather than ground realities. See, be very clear. All the 70%, 75% reservation, this drama is there, right? It is purely for political gains. It is to show that I care for Haryana people or I care for Andhra people. Okay, but in reality, even I know it cannot be implemented. It's next to impossible. Yes or no? And see, the same logic when US does. Okay, USA does H1B visas, we cry, right? Okay, when we does the same, it's okay. Hypocrisy at its peak. Okay, again, as I say, the more money flows, right? There is a Telugu idiom, Neeru Palla Merugu, like water knows only downward direction. In the same way, money flows. The more the money flow, the more interactions will happen and development will happen. The moment you try to restrict it, it will lead to a lot of problems. Okay. Yes. Inspector Raj. Why it will become an Inspector Raj? Let's say this is a classroom. According to Government of India, whenever there is a classroom, there should be a fire extinguisher, a ventilation. Okay. A steps exist mechanism. So many rules and regulations have to be there, right? So you are running a classroom in this particular thing. So a district education officer or someone will come and he will see you are not following all these things. What will he do? He will fine us, right? Normally he is supposed to fine us. But if every institute in Hyderabad is doing the same thing, what will he do? You cannot close down all these things, right? So he will start rent-seeking behavior. That means he will take bribery, right? So institutes which can afford huge buildings, they will follow the norms. Which cannot, will give the bribe. So if any organization is having employees less than 50,000 rupees per month salary, okay, he is hiring 10 people from Gujarat. So the inspector will walk into that particular office and you will find out all the employees are Gujaratis, right? Not Haryana people. Then he will say, give me bribe or close down the organization. It will become a rent-seeking mechanism. See, corruption stems from discretion. Corruption stems from discretion. What is discretion? I will tell whether you are a good person or a bad person. I will decide whether it's fine or not. That is why if you see this year UPSC forms, most of them won't fill IRS IT in the top. They will push IRS IT below, something else. Why? Faceless taxation, DIN, QR codes. As an IRS officer, I don't have any discretion whatsoever. Yes or no? Nobody will listen to me. I'm not saying corruption. First of all, nobody will respect me. So then IRS has lost its charm overnight. Yes? See, people used to fill IAS, IPS, IFS, IRS IT. Now IRS IT will be like a adopted child. But if you are a person who prefers desk job, 9 to 5 job, stress-free life, 70,000 salary, I'm fine. IRS IT is the best possible job. Yes. So you have to relink. Now, Supreme Court has highest respect for womanhood. Yes. If you have to criticize this, what will you say? Rationally. Representation of women in judiciary can be increased. Okay. How many judges? Out of 34, only 2 judges are women. So that shows high respect for women. No? Also, you can set up an internal complaints committee towards whatever Justice Gogoi have done. If you can undo that, automatically the respect for judiciary will increase tenfold. Yes or no? Again, as I told you, probably his statement is not what he meant. This we have discussed in the class. Yes. So he is trying to say that is not what I meant. Never believe anything unless it is officially denied. Yes or no? Okay, so jokes apart. So see again, time and again, judiciary has upheld the respect for women. The best case scenario will be Sabarimala judgment, gender justice. Yes, so many judgments you can find. Even the Priya Ramani case recently, Me Too movement. So, sorry? Yeah, yes, Vinita Sharma versus Rakesh Sharma case. The property rights to women. So, all these things you can cite as positive examples. See, whenever you get an article, you need to find out what can you criticize rationally, what are the things you can write positively. So, in the way forward, you will write, setting up an internal committee, complaints committee will enhance the judicial image or perception towards women. So, you outrightly won't say criticism. You will say judiciary is doing all the good things. These judgments are good. Vinita Sharma, Rakesh Sharma. What is the Sabarimala judgment's official name? Sabarimala judgment. Everybody knows. Kerala Young Lawyers versus State of Kerala. Okay. So, Vinita Sharma, Rakesh Sharma is property rights. Okay. Joseph Shine judgment? Adultery. Joseph Shine judgment is adultery. Triple Talaq. Shabano case. Shabano versus State of Uttar Pradesh, I guess, or Union of India. Shaira Banu. Oh, Shaira Banu. So, same. Okay. Yes, Shaira Banu. Yes. Shabano is post-independence consolidation. Okay. Any other judgment for women empowerment? See, you never know. UPSC might throw a match the following case. Okay. Or like in 2014 means they will ask you what is IR Coelho case. Yes. So anything can happen. If they ask you Vinita Sharma versus Rakesh Sharma has ramifications on the Indian society, you will turn east. Yes. Join the hands and leave the question. Don't do that. Okay. At least 25 questions you have to mug up. Now. So, sessions of parliament, what is, adjournment Senate, when are sessions prorogued? Yes, who summons the sessions? What is the official gap between the sessions? What will who will summon, or what will happen if not? Should the President of India address the first session of first session of every first budget session, or in every session like winter monsoon and only the first one, only the budget session he has to answer? Sure. Okay. Right. So courts in 5 countries back, Kerin ruling. This is related to retrospective taxation. So yes. So one more prelims questions. What is per capita income? How do you define per capita income? Yes or no? Very easy, right? What is the formula? National income by population or GDP by population? GDP by population is national income. Sorry, per capita income. Sure. Not national income by population. Okay. So basic question, right? Very simple. Per capita income. And you can quote the data. See, Delhi has the highest per capita income in the country. Delhi has the highest per capita income in the country. Clear? Again, if you don't know anything, don't worry. It's an opportunity to learn, right? You can go back and open the particular books. There is one more article, Langanwadi. Very simple article, the contours of endgame in Afghanistan. Yes, where will you use this article? GS paper 2, IR. Now, any prelims question? What is Doha agreement related to? Is it related to WTO? Yes.
There is a power sharing agreement
Hmm.
created by US government between the Afghani government and the Taliban
Taliban leaders.
Leaders.
Okay. Are the Talibans per se, right? Okay. Anything else? How many countries does Afghanistan share border with? Does India have boundary with Afghanistan?
Yes.
Sure.
80 kilometers.
80 kilometers. Yes, Shweta, good. Okay. Yes. India shares a boundary of largest boundary with which nation? Not China. Sure. China, right? Pakka. Okay. Not Bangladesh also. Bangladesh only. Okay. Mhm. Right. So all of you have done some magic miracles in the air few minutes ago. So you can cross compare whether your answer is true or not. Yes. This is all one country. Don't be fooled by this boundary. Yes. Now, why Pakistan is so worried about Afghanistan? Encircling of Pakistan will happen. Yes or no? Iran, these countries, sorry, especially Afghanistan and India. So Pakistan is cornered more or less. Yes. There is your CPEC corridor, but again corridors are a chicken necks, like bottlenecks. So they can have a lot of ramifications. So if Afghanistan is totally under control of, let's say, India or Iran or a India friendly America, then Pakistan will be sandwiched. It will be encircled. Yes, because anyhow Arabian Sea, this area is dominated by Indian maritime power, right? India has much better maritime power than Pakistan. So China won't come to the rescue at the right moment. I mean, China has to travel all the way till Indian Ocean and come then rescue the Pakistan. So that is why Gwadar port, that is what I'm saying. You cannot land nuclear, even we have a nuclear submarine, right? So it will be a status quo. I'm not saying we will go for a full-fledged war, right? It is to show the power. All I will do is send a, see, whenever you see American movies or any Hollywood movies, what do? They first send a ship or aircraft. What does that tell you? It's a deterrent. Having an American base in South Korea is what? It's just a message that don't come anywhere near this area. So it's all. So if there is a port, Gwadar port, Chabahar port, so we have our own Mumbai, Goa, we will send 2 nuclear submarines. They will send 2 nuclear submarines. Status quo. Yes. So I mean, it's like a check stalemate, right? Right. So map pointing wise, it is very important. Whenever you see Afghanistan, always remember that map pointing is very important. And doing 5 minutes of map pointing daily is more important than last 2 hours before the exam. When you go to the prelims hall, everybody will be like Chitti the Robo. Yes, everybody will be rotating the atlas at a finger burning speed. Okay, you won't remember anything, trust me. Yes, some of you might have done that. So okay, so if you haven't done that, don't do that. Watch atlas for 5 minutes every day. And this is the highway that America is trying to build in Afghanistan. So the entire Afghanistan drama can be brought down to this particular highway. So you can ask why America, such a huge country, failed in Afghanistan in spite of investing billions of dollars. Almost $1 trillion have been invested in Afghanistan, because for every kilometer it will cost millions of dollars, and more or less this area is dominated by Taliban in relation to Afghanistan. The same thing they used to do, right? Attack, come back to Pakistan. Attack, come back to Pakistan. So America innocently used to give money to Pakistan, and Pakistan used to send terrorists, so that whenever there is a high activity, again more money will flow into Pakistan, saying control the Talibans. Yes or no? You are giving money to the arsonist to put down the fire. He is buying petrol. Yes, so this has been realized by America right now. That is why Pakistan is in FATF grey list for a huge amount of time. That is also diplomatic victory for India. Now, see, if it is like overall development, I will block half of the area, I will develop it, right? So when I try to connect the 4 major cities in Afghanistan, what will happen? I will lay 2 kilometers of road. Somebody will come and plant an IED. The engineer or the soldiers will die. Again, somebody has to be brought out. So for every kilometer, there was a time where $8 million were spent on per kilometer. Right? In spite of that, they couldn't complete it. And Taliban's actually capacity increased. Taliban is occupying more area now rather than when they started. Okay, so all these are the problems. I hope you will remember the basic details. You can draw a map. If you are not accurate, just draw a square in Afghanistan, surround the areas, and say these are the problems. And if we had a direct link with India, we won't have to go all the way from Chabahar to Afghanistan. This Bandar Abbas port is in Chabahar, right? Afghanistan. So just this or this. That is unfortunate scenario that India is facing. Clear? So remember, for map pointing point of view, where is what and why it is important. And as you all know, Strait of Hormuz or Gulf of Oman, it is a very important maritime zone which has a huge oil trade. Now this article, the crux of this article is what?
US want to leave Afghanistan,
Hmm.
and India is also India has some goodwill in Afghanistan.
Hmm.
Even India is encouraging the leaders has good contact with the leaders of Afghanistan. So India should be a part of the process, the Afghan peace. Maybe now or later.
So one important thing is this: India never wavered from its original stand that we will talk only to the legitimate government. No matter what, whether things are good or bad, India always stood with the recognized Afghanistan government. And there are enough editorials in Hindu and in diplomatic circles also to say that you should start negotiating with Taliban. But India does not differentiate between a good Taliban and a bad Taliban. For it, all Talibans are one. Yes. So we won't want to negotiate with the Talibans. We will stick with the Afghan government, even though if it is corrupt, illegitimate, or not having any teeth in the ground level. Our principle is what? To stand with the government of Afghanistan, and it has reaped rewards because of that particular stand. By not moving away from this particular stand and always trying to develop infrastructure or support the democratic process in Afghanistan, all the people who are on the receiving end of the Taliban were always in favor of India. Yes or no? Half the population does not like Talibans. They don't have any say. Yes, more than half, around 60 to 70% of the Afghanistan people, we can go even higher, doesn't like the Taliban. But unfortunately, it is not their choice to say whether they want to support the Talibans or not. And whenever there is a neutral tribal leader within the Taliban, he was immediately eliminated. Okay, whenever there is a neutral Taliban or someone who is, pro-democratic or something like that, he was eliminated because sane voices are not appreciated in chaos. Yes. So now India has to reap all that goodwill it has planted all this time. But this article is more or less a utopian dream. Even he knows that. Why? The moment, sorry? It's not about land, right? It's more about who is allowing you to take part. First of all, you have to allow India to negotiate or allow India to come into the dialogue process or allow India to do anything. See, there is one beautiful paragraph which says, this particular paragraph, the conundrum for the US is this. These two paragraphs are important. Why this particular paragraph is important? Pakistan is more important strategically to USA rather than Afghanistan. Okay. And it cannot do so without accepting Pakistan's terms. What is the first unwritten term that Pakistan mentions? No India. Okay, the first unwritten term in any Pakistan agreement is don't involve India. Don't give India 0.1% of the scope. And the biggest player is USA. USA cannot continue the Afghanistan war. USA cannot withdraw without Pakistan terms. Then how can India enter? Yes. So that is why India is keeping its base very good. It is continuing the diplomatic and democratic process without trying to antagonize anyone, whether the Pakistanis or Americans. And at the same time, India doesn't have the resources as money to do an adventure on its own, right? Yeah. We are not a net security problem. Yes, but again, the problem is that is what I'm trying to say, right? It's more about ground changes, right? Let's say there is a Taliban leader. Okay, fine. If you want to put it in that way, but fine. Yes, but again, if you see, as I told you, Donald Trump just before the 9/11 things, he cancelled the talks with Taliban. Then again, he came back. So there is no, continuation.
Recently thought of Jaishankar at US is representative for this. Can we say it is because we are ready, whatever might happen, we are ready for whatever might happen. Maybe if Taliban's take
Power. We will condemn it. We are ready. Yes, we are good at that.
So are we ready for that?
I think we have, because we have already seen it in 2000s, right? See, the problem for me with this entire thing is this. When Pakistan and Afghanistan are totally dominated by Pakistanis and the ISI and Taliban, the security threat for India will increase. And unfortunately, with all the diplomatic skills of Jaishankar or Indian government's lobbying power, we actually don't control the people, right? The Talibans, in any sense of the term. And they are totally having a vested interest. Whatever is good for me, I will do that. Yes. But again, it may or may not be that bad like in 2000s.
Given that we are following the principle of issue-based approach, de-escalation and all that, why is India taking a principled stand here? I mean,
Because
as suggested by many of the diplomats, they can go talk to Taliban and then maybe try to.
if we start negotiating with, let's say, Talibans, tomorrow why not negotiate with the Kashmiri separatists? See, here Taliban is the terrorist, right? So by legitimizing the terrorist, you are telling what? India is okay to talk to terrorists. So if you have some threat or if you put some pressure on us, we will talk to you. And we are living in a glass house from Tamil Nadu all the way till Kashmir. We have so many separatist movements or terror organizations or affiliations. The entire Northeast is a boiling pot. There are so many doors that we don't want to open. Yes, so terrorist is a terrorist and there is no negotiation. You know the American policy, American government policy. The one important change American government did is no negotiation with terrorists. That is why American citizens or contractors are not kidnapped that easily. If you kidnap an American contractor in Afghanistan, American government does not officially negotiate with you. You can negotiate with their families if they are willing to pay the money. You are lucky enough. If they are not having that kind of money, we can't help you. Okay, the Somalia piracy, American government does not negotiate. Yes, the recently Indian government has also modified the Hijack Act in relation to the non-negotiation with terrorists. Why do we don't want to negotiate with the terrorists? We are a legitimate government, and by legitimizing the enemy, it will create a lot of problem. Clear? And to start with, we are spearheading the terrorism programs, right, everywhere. But again, honestly speaking, they are not rational people to negotiate, right? All they need is power. And if that happens, the first thing is internal war. If America withdraws and everything is left to the Taliban, the first thing that will happen is internal war. Why? They don't have unity among themselves. Now they have a common enemy, all of them are focusing their energy. The moment there is no common enemy, we'll start fighting among ourselves. Clear? Yes. Snakes and ladders, no need. Okay. We can use that heading in handicrafts. Snake and ladders is Indian game. Okay. Pursuing American dream from work from anywhere. I don't even want you to read this article. If you have read this article, it's okay. Don't read it. Okay. His concept is this: work from anywhere will solve the H1B visa issue in an extent. But people don't go to America only for the salaries, right? They go there for the lifestyle. If I want to work from Bengaluru, why will Dell pay me 5 lakh rupees per month? There are 10,000 others who are working for 1 lakh rupees, right?
Impact on the health.
Impact on-
Corporate system. You work in the night.
Hmm.
If you go there, you work in the day.
So again, it's a very, it's not rational, right? In my opinion. Again, probably one idea what I liked in this entire article is this: I have so many software engineers, right, dispersed throughout the country, not in Gurgaon branch or Bengaluru branch. Everyone have a good skill set. As a client, I have the choice to pick up X, Y, Z from different branches, and they might synergize. Yes or no? In my understanding, most of the software organizations are like this. It's like a pupils who don't know swimming drowning the teacher. Yes or no? A good team lead will be there, or a good manager will be there with good amount of skills. Very rarely, but he will be there. Yes, but the rest of the team will be very immature or unprofessional. They will collectively drag down his potential along with their own potentials, and projects which are supposed to be completed in 3 months will be completed in 6 months, or vice versa is true. Both the cases are true, right? Yeah. Talented and unprofessionals won't be appreciated by the lazy team leader. Okay, so both ways. Okay, Sharath was one victim, so we can understand. Yes, yes. Okay, clear. But both are equally true. Again, so this idea might actually work. You can pick the best. Yes or no? One question: if UPSC prefers open book exam, how many of you think it's a good idea? Open book exam, UPSC. Like for prelims, open book exam.
Some limitations are
Internet will be there. Phone, okay. Open book. I said open laptop. No? Again, most of the people will fail if they prefer open book or laptops, because the moment you turn Lakshmikant, you will try to find out the particular topic unless it's in your brain. Okay, it will consume a lot of time. So unnecessary, you will have confusion. You will prefer to open that book and waste more time. Yes. So open book will destroy more lives than anything else. Right. Now, alarming dikat. The beauty of India is we can use Hindi, English, Persian, Arabic, any kind of words and make more sense. Yes or no? Yes or no? See like Sholay. Yes, the famous dialogues by Gabbar will have Urdu dialects. Yes. Now, what is the problem with Haryana's article? As I told you, the focus should be more on skill development and employment generation. Can these things happen overnight? That is why I have to do some political manipulation. Yes or no? Or political, what we call as policy changes. Policy changes to protect the existing employment. That will be the argument. But in ground reality, the problem is skill development cannot happen overnight. Minimum 6 months, worst case scenario, 2 years. Minimum 2 years is a good amount of time for a like low skilled labor to develop his skills into a high skilled labor. And again, high skilled labor have a saturation point. A big industrial complex will hire only 2,000 permanent employees. The rest will be contracted. As you know, because of labor laws or to save money, either criteria. Now, so this won't be a one state affair, or it is not going to end in any time soon, right? As I told you in the other class, in 1980s itself, Gujarat has tried something similar. In 2020, you won't be surprised because of falling employment generations. On the other day, See, this is also written by Mr. Pratap Bhanu Mehta. Pratap Bhanu Mehta in Indian Express also criticizes the same point. On the one hand, you say one nation, one market. On the other hand, you are creating local visas. So how are they going to work together? And one more important article point is this: there is a company in Gurgaon or something like that. In Chennai, we have seen, right? Contract laborers have destroyed the iPhone factory, and that created an image problem against India. India is just now having this PLI scheme, product linked incentive scheme, encouraging industrialization. If Apple trusts us and come and set up a shop in Haryana, Gurgaon area, right? If there is some problem between contract workers and permanent employees, or there is an inspector Raj, or there is some scam for corruption, and it blows out, that will destroy the ease of doing business image of India. That's a very, very dangerous thing. Now, is it true that all the jobs are taken by outsiders? See, the low skilled employee, right? The problem here is low skilled employee. 50,000 below, it's low skill only, right? How many of, except the software engineers, how many of them actually make 50,000 rupees in, any informal sector?
Middle class jobs are taken by migrants. So if you see these hotspots also, Bangalore, Mumbai, Haryana. So
See, again, you have to link it to the skill survey of India, right? You have given.
Migration, there is no.
No. I'm telling you this simply. Okay, you are a chartered accountant. Okay, you work very well. Tomorrow you will get a 40 lakh package in Chennai. Right? So if someone from Tamil Nadu is equally as good as you, okay, they will hire him only, right? It's not like they prefer you. Point number one. Second thing, people who are coming out of colleges in Haryana, let's say hypothetical, if they're really employable, why will the companies hire someone from outside? The problem is you have allowed thousands of engineering colleges within Hyderabad. If you see all this, yellow buses roaming throughout the city, how many hundreds of engineering colleges? Recently, what did the skill report say? Around 50% of engineers are useless, at least when they come out of college. So whose fault is it? Again, he will join some company, take some years, work for a low wage, then improve his skills, then get a better job. So just because there is a rule, if I hire all those 50 useless people, what will happen? Will I go into profits? No? Yes? Are we clear? So again, it's not about one state, right? It will happen in every state, and every state doesn't have 75% of the skilled labor. So it's high time we invest in higher education systems, reform the employability of the skilled youth. Yes? Link industries with colleges. The moment you are coming out of college, you should be employable. You should be industry ready. You are reading LIFO, FIFO method, there is Tally. Again, you will join Amirpet 6 months course, Tally. What is the purpose? Why don't you do that in college only? Are we clear? That is what happens to almost all degrees, right? Yes or no? Commerce background, you will read something else, there is something else. You have to master the Excel. But all the 3 months or the 3 years in your graduation, you don't practice Excel at all. The same thing might be similar to many engineering courses. Yes, you do something else, then you join bus companies. Means Tata, Wipro, Infosys, they come and hire people in bus loads. So that is why they are called as bus companies. Okay, clear? Again, it's a good thing, right? Indian companies hiring so many youngsters. Okay. But again, honestly speaking, if you take any big company, where will they prefer to go first place? IITs. Then the BITS Pilani, BITS Goa or the BIT campuses. Then CBIT, like reputed Hyderabad institutions. Who will go to some engineering college in Mehdipatnam? Yes or no? Very rarely. So all those bridges have to be patched. And Pradhana Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana has to be implemented in letter and spirit. Recognition of prior learning has to be encouraged. You already have some skill, that has to be polished. So all these things only when done in letter and spirit will solve the employment or unemployment problem in the country. Till then, it will only be cry. Now, context. Indian green shoots are happening right now. India is out of the recession. So if this is taken as a norm and more states will do the same, it will destroy the perception towards India. And in business, it's always about perceptions. Clear? ensuring the trust in electoral process. How many of you know anything about electoral bonds apart from what is mentioned in this particular article? What are the denominators of electoral bonds? 100, 1000, 1 crore. Okay, 1 crore bond is there. You think it is there in the article, right? Okay. Anything else? So if I go to State Bank of India with 1 crore rupees, can I buy a electoral bond?
The beginning of every quarter, Jan, April.
Mm-hmm.
So it is
So any SBI branch will have it. Can I go to ICICI and purchase it? Only by SBI. Why?
The government.
So do I need to give my identity or can I purchase anonymously? So there are a lot of confusions, right? Yes, but again, these are all prelims worthy. So electoral bonds are non-interest bearing bonds. Nobody will give you interest on the electoral bonds. Okay, and again, who prints the electoral bonds is like a triviality, bank exam question. Okay, the range of bonds is between 1000 to 1 crore, not 100 rupees. The minimum is 1000 rupees. Okay, now next, who can purchase these bonds? Person or a incorporated or established in India. A company can buy, a person can buy, a individual Hindu undivided family can buy. Yes, a company or a firm. Now, why these things are important, we will discuss in the article. Companies can purchase, right? Yes or no? So, can we link it to crony capitalism? Or can we link it to anonymity? Let's say both. Why? If I give 5 crores to BJP as a company, I also have to give at least 2 crores to Congress. Or else, if the voting system tilted towards Congress, they will have vendetta towards me. Yes or no? So now this will protect me in a way. Yes or no? In a way. I am not saying perfectly, but in a way it will protect me because nobody will know how much money I am giving to one particular political party. Yes. Next. Only political parties registered under Section 29A of Representation of People Act 1951 are eligible. So if I start a political party, I cannot rotate the money using the name of electoral bonds. Yes or no? It will become a new shell company. Yes. So what does that mean? Today I started, I will ask Aditya purchase electoral bonds and give it to me. Right? It will become a scam. So you should have participated and not less than 2% polls voted. It's not a big deal. It's a 5-year investment. Yes or no? Right. The electoral accounts are issued by State Bank of India only as of now. Though it's a trivial data, you need to understand this.
So when will the bond mature?
Bond 15 days validity. Bond will have 50. We will come to that. It is there. See, it's like I will go to SBI. I will submit my KYC documents either through DD or check or online transfer, not through cash. I cannot purchase anything through cash in electoral bonds. I will say State Bank of India, give me bonds for this particular political party. Right? So then the bonds will be given to that particular political party by State Bank of India. Okay. So within 15 days or stipulated time, the party has to encash it. Clear? So it's not like I'm going directly and giving the bonds to the political parties. All I need to do is tell the name of that political party and submit my KYC and purchase the bonds. Now, technically speaking, the political party also won't know who has given me how much amount of money. Yes, but SBI is a government bank. I can always access the details. So that is a loophole that people allege. We don't know how it actually works. But again, as an industrialist, I will make sure that I will take a photo, right, or the receipt or something, and I will tell, I have donated certain amount of money to you, or else I will go and say I have donated 100 crores to you recently, make me MP. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So triviality, but trivial questions will be asked in depth by UPSC. Electoral bonds is an evergreen issue, right? So from now on, whenever you read an article, you need to know that the bonds are issued in a certain specific time, and whenever there is a general elections, 30 days exceptions are made. Now, yes, political parties are allotted a verified account by the election commission itself. So every rupee that is coming out and going in that particular account will be audited by everyone. So it's like a open book. You cannot say I didn't get the money, right? Okay, so the donors can transfer that particular bond into that particular political party's account. Now, yes, he will get a tax deduction. That's an incentive. Yes or no? Okay. The name of the donor is kept confidential. The bond is valid for 15 days.
So what happens in 15 days if the party doesn't get back?
Yes, I have covered it. Okay. So if the amount is not encashed, it will send it to PM relief fund. It's an income source for the government anyhow. Okay. Now, see, basic idea, right? Electoral bonds 1,000 to 1 crore. You cannot purchase it through cash. Designated SBI branches only, in designated times only, and there is no direct contract between donor and the political parties. Only the SBI will know all the details, not even the political parties. Yes. Now, coming to this particular article, what does they criticize? They criticize a lot of points. First, the bill itself was passed through bypassing Rajya Sabha, and it is sub judice. It is still pending in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court doesn't consider it as a important issue. So if you read governance part, there are a number of books. Electoral reforms is one very important thing. There are tons and tons of recommendation. And whenever it comes to elections, I told you one name should come to your mind, that is Association for Democratic Reforms. So before this electoral bond system, what used to happen? Let's say I wanted to donate money to a particular political party. If it is less than 20,000 rupees, I can directly donate to that particular political party. And the party has to submit the audit reports to Election Commission of India. Below 20,000 rupees. So if you see the books of all the political parties, if someone gives 1 crore rupees donation, they will break it down into 500 small donations. Yes or no? And they will sign with left hand, right hand, legs, thumb impressions. Yes or no? Why? Pullaya gave 500 rupees. Rattamma gave 30 rupees. Like this, they will create a huge transaction list. Indirectly saying that instead of, a company has given me 1 crore rupees, they will create 1,000 people saying all of them collectively gave 1 crore rupees. So all you have to do is pay good amount of salary to the accountant, right? The rest is managed. So this used to be done. Now it has been reduced to 2,000 rupees. Yes or no? You need even more talented accountant. That's all. Nothing has changed at the ground level. Okay. Only we have added more layers, Hangama, like donors, KYC. Yes, the problems. Next. This has been empirically proved that the party in power receives the maximum amount of donations, right? And we cannot directly blame it is because of electoral bonds. It is also probably because of the lack of fear of the opposition party. Yes, so I may or may not buy that particular argument. It's nothing wrong, right? Whosoever is in power, everybody is your best friend. Yes or no? The moment you lost your power, except your driver, nobody will stay with you. Yes or no? Apart from family members, of course. So What I meant to say is power absorbs, attracts more power and money. Next. So again, if you see 6,500 crores are sold through electoral bonds, and that is less than 10% of actual election spending. In India, every Lok Sabha election we spend more than 70,000 crores. Okay, so electoral bonds are hardly collectively 6,500 crores, not 1 year, right, till now from the inception. So whatever we are discussing is not even scratching the surface in relation to the real electoral funding. So we are very, very far off from actually addressing the electoral funding problem in India. There are suggestions like state funding of elections, yes, and more transparency and accountancy in elections. So all these things are there, but it is very, very difficult to prove how money flows in the election system. Let's say I am an industrialist, I won't give a single rupee to the, let's say, BJP government, but I will provide 25 cars. Yes or no? All I do is provide 25 cars. You roam day and night in the 25 cars. Let the whatever the fuel is mine, right? You will use it for promotion, transfer, all the things. On the day of the elections, you will drop the cars back. Yes, that is also supporting the system. So that is very natural, right? If I love a political party, there is no bar that I cannot give car to my party. And it's not corruption also, it's loyalty. Yes. So it's very difficult to control electoral system in the country. Clear?
If they were to companies tax message, how government is justifying it?
How government is justifying that? I don't think anyone asked them to justify. First thing. The second thing here, see, Companies Act removed the cap of 7.5% to the political contributions to a company, to a political party. So there used to be a cap, now there is no cap. So it's the industry's choice to support. And second thing, it is not favoring one political party, right? You can give it to any political party. So all of them are in consensus. See, before understanding this, understand this. If you imagine BJP and Congress as cat and mouse, okay, both of them came together to pass FRCA Act amendment to say foreign contributions for political parties is not a bad thing. Okay, that is one retrospective amendment. Please understand, it's a retrospective amendment. Two opposition parties coming together to protect their own vested interests. Yes, democracy has been damaged. Yes or no? You received lot of foreign funding, then you go back and say retrospectively it's okay to receive foreign funding for political parties. Because you are the lawmakers, you are making law for yourself. So you are happy. The same applies to this also. This will benefit any political party and all political parties. So no political party have objection, right? And money laundering and all these things have been strengthened, right? It's not like very easily money is flowing into the country. Clear? Yes. But remember, mostly for prelims, it is very, very important. Mains, overall perspective, electoral reforms in India, you might line one paragraph in relation to electoral bonds. Clear? See, think about it. 70,000 crores, 7,000 crores. What happened to the rest of the 60,000 crores, 63,000 crores? How is it flowing into the market? It is stored in real estate. Yes. Shell companies are also more or less removed, right? Cash. It's mostly about cash or through dealings. I will give you this much amount of this in relation to X party. Clear? So all the black money stored in the country, in the gold and land, come out in the form of cash during election system. So before election starts, 1 year before elections, people will start selling their lands, everything, cattle, all the gold, every asset, all the MLAs, MPs, they will sell off everything. So every day you have to spend thousands of rupees to make chai only. Yes or no? You will spend every single rupee out of your life to win a particular elections. Then the investments will be reaped. Yes or no? Unfortunately, that is the system. And the cost of the vote has increased. Earlier, people were simple, 1,000 rupees, 1,500, 2,000 max. 2,000 was like super, oh wow, 2,000 rupees per vote was given. Now it's anywhere between 5,000 to 7,000 rupees per vote. I have seen that in municipal elections. 5,000 rupees for municipal election. What happens to MP elections? We can only imagine. So today the first thing I saw in the news in Gujarat, I think, there was a liquor shop for sale. The bidding was 70,000 rupees, starting bid. Okay, it sold for 500 crores. License for a liquor shop sold at 500 crores. Imagine the turnover of that particular shop. Yes. So, whosoever said India is a poor country doesn't actually know India in its essence. Yes or no? Liquor shop for 500 crores. And Rajasthan? Gujarat only? Is there some permission must be there for that particular thing? Okay, clear? So electoral bonds, do read it. If you don't understand anything, do let me know. All these are facts. Save this data. If not, I will send it in the weekend review, right? Anyhow, I will collect the facts and send you. What I showed you in the other document is more useful for prelims, like what are electoral bonds, issued by whom, what, etc. Cow and conciliation, if you have interest, you can read for Indian society's sake. If not, you can skip it. Yes. Do you agree? Let's have Men's Day for gender parity. Essence. भावनाओं को समझो, भाषा को नहीं. That is more important. Yeah. Do we need to have a Men's Day? Santosh?
Every day is a men's.
Every day is except for that one day. Yes, Sharat?
I would say it shows the big-heartedness of the women to give us an equal opportunity to celebrate a men's day, since they are women's day. So
Okay.
they are better than the men.
Okay.
And also like from women empowerment to women-led empowerment, she's leading the path.
Okay.
Setting a new trend in
Sir, why is it portrayed that women are stopping men from celebration?
Okay. Okay, fine. Accepted. Like, do they deserve a special day? It's your choice, right? If you want to celebrate, you can. If you not, you don't need to. Okay. So what happens when Women's Day will come? Everybody will put a WhatsApp status. Yes, one of my friends uploaded this status. Happy Women's Day, Siri and Alexa. The only two women who listens to men. Right. So again, it's a stereotypical thing portrayed as a joke. Yes or no? So it's both funny and at the same time, irony. Yes. On Women's Day, you are saying the same thing. Right. Okay. So again, yes, as he has rightly mentioned, at least she gave us the opportunity to say, we deserve our own day. Yes. But again, as Hare Krishna has rightly put, every day is a Men's Day. Patriarchy is something that cannot be distilled out that quickly. But definitely society has changed a lot, especially in the pandemic. Yes or no? More and more men have started cooking, learnt the art of changing the house. Yes, so many things are happening slowly because of the changing nature of jobs. Both of them are working, nuclear families. So men doesn't have the luxury to sit idly, but has to pick up the household chores. This is only one side of the story. Yes, prelims questions. DAC, right? This is what he has said. Defense Acquisition Council is headed by Raksha Mantri. Yes, Defense Minister, not Chief of Defense Staff. Sure. Domestically systemic insurance companies. Domestically systemic insurance companies. That is also a expected prelims question for 2021. All of you know domestically systemic important banks. DSIB. Yes, DSIB. Domestically systemic important banks. Recently, RBI has reiterated ICICI, HDFC, SBI as DSIB. In the same way, government has recently announced domestically systemic insurance companies. Clear? Next, one more question is, what is the role of Bank Board Bureau? What is the role of Bank Board Bureau? This you must have read in the static part. Sorry? PJ Nayak committee recommended Banks Board Bureau. Yes, it has been appointed. They also remove or appoint, suggest the directors of the banks. Yes, so it is a very important governance reforms. Bank Board Bureau. Yes, this is related to NPS, balance sheet of the banks. What is meant by write-off? Right, of course. Write-off, written off bad loans. What is writing off? Removed from the balance sheet. They have neutralized that particular thing. This is not going to come. It's a settled account in the balance sheet. Okay, I have accepted them as losses. So I'm giving it a closure. Writing off. Okay, so to the tune of 1.15 lakh crores in the last current fiscal. So the amount is 1 lakh crores in write off. Then you can imagine the NPS. Okay, 15 lakh crores or 15% will be a very decent NPA for Indian banks. Why it is important? Banks won't be in a position to give more new loans. Yes, it will hamper the entire economic productivity. So if companies are asking for loans but banks are not giving new loans, means it will affect the economic growth of the nation. Yes or no?
I think government is addressing the issue by creating larger banks.
That is what the finance minister has said. That is what we will write. Yes. Yes, that's it. Okay, any other prelims questions that you thought of? Sorry? Tiger Reserve, Kodagu. Okay. A man-animal conflict. A person has been killed in a forest reserve, right? So that has increased in more often than not recently. In Asifabad only we have seen that. Where is Asifabad Tiger Reserve? Telangana and Maharashtra border. So it's very important. Which is the largest tiger reserve in the country? Nagarjuna Sagar. Sure. Largest tiger reserve. I think it's Nagarjuna Sagar. Srisailam Tiger Reserve. So again, just find out all the basic trivialities, right? So Brent crude oil is something which is in the news. So in today's Indian Express, there are two articles. One is by Raja Mohan, the other one is about Brent crude oil. Okay. All of you know Brent, right? Brent is a sour crude oil, sweet crude oil. Okay, fine. Which oil do we use for measuring Indian oil basket? Brent or West Texas Intermediate? We don't use Brent for Indian benchmark prices. Indian basket is totally Dubai crude and Oman crude. Okay, so two different things. So but remember, for prelims they have asked both WTI, West Texas Intermediary, and Brent crude oil. It was very much in the news last year, right? So OPEC countries, OPEC countries, is India a member of OPEC countries? No. ASEAN? India is member of ASEAN. ASEAN plus 6, acha. Right. India is a member of ASEAN. Not a member of ASEAN. India a member of RCEP? No. TPP? Trans-Pacific Partnership. Indian Ocean region? IOR. India is in the heart of the IOR. It's not official grouping, by the way. Yes. Any other things? East Asia Summit. Okay. India is a member of East Asia Summit. Okay. Quad. India is a member of Quad. No surprises. If you don't answer, it's a surprise. Yes. Good. So find out the answer for domestically systemic important insurance companies. Why insurance companies are important? What is initial public offer is also a prelims question. Obviously, you know. So the link topic will be what is underwriting. How many of you know what is underwriting? Yes.
The writing is you assure that in case so many shares are not purchased, I'll purchase them.
Somebody will purchase, that is underwriting. So I mean, of course, oversubscription will happen for LIC. Don't worry about it. Oversubscription means more and more people want the limited number of shares. But if worst case scenario, if some company is going for IPO and minimum number of shares allocated are not sold, it will become a problem, right? So that is why underwriters will be discussed. Discussion with underwriters will happen before IPO. That means if I am not able to sell the shares, I will purchase them, but I will purchase them at a discount. Clear? Okay. Yes, so those are the prelims questions. Try to remember them and try to find out answers to all the questions that you don't know. Okay. So I will send that document. Which one? Electoral bonds. Brent crude oil and West Texas intermediary also I will say. It's ready. Yes. Any questions? No? Okay then. Right. See you all tomorrow. Oh, by the way, how many of you are reading DK Balaji? Reading. Done. Done. Some are done. Reading. Like you have IR classes till Thursday or something, right? Yes? Okay, whatever it is. So 60, at least 40% done.
Yes.
It's like a storybook, right? It's very easy to read also. It's not difficult in language or terminology or anything. So spend 1.5 hours per day on reading that book, okay, as quickly as possible. It will help you to understand whatever we are going to discuss in the classes. So if you don't do that, it will be like any other class, right? You will come, I will tell for 7 hours, then you will go home. After 7 hours, you will forget everything. That is